Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and today we're taking a look specifically at a new pedal from Spruce Effects. It's their Kenai Fjords oil can delay, and it's the latest in their Junior Ranger series of pedals. These feature really elegant, beautiful artwork. They're paying homage to a list of national parks across the United States here, and they feature Spruce Effects' take on a number of different types of effects and flavors of sounds here, with this one being an oil can delay. But before we dive into the specific sounds from this new pedal from Spruce Effects, I wanted to back up a little bit and talk about a bigger picture concept that really kind of guides and focuses my approach to pedals and to gear in general, and it really has to do with pairings, or the interaction between different effects or different instruments, and finding the right context for the pedal or the sound that we're talking about. As I was preparing to write the intro track for this specific demo, I kind of went through a couple different revisions of ideas before landing on the sketch that you heard a minute ago, and I'm glad I did, because I think that intro track really highlights the beauty of that pairing of the Rubber Bridge acoustic guitar with this oil can delay pedal. They just kind of worked together. There was a synergy with the kind of dull, muted timbre and texture of the Rubber Bridge with those flat wound strings and the rubber bridge, and the kind of dark, murky, kind of washy and sloshy delay repeats from the Kenai Fjords here with that fluttery modulation too. They really kind of worked in tandem to create this sound and this texture, and in turn to create sort of a mood and an atmosphere for that intro piece that I was really happy with. And so I think it's really important as we go through gear, and especially with the pace and sort of the volume of different pedals coming out, to kind of step back and pause and spend some time with these effects and figure out kind of where their strengths and weaknesses are. Look around the room or the studio here and kind of consider what effects or instruments compare together to make the sounds and ultimately the moods and kind of the feelings that you're wanting to make when you're playing or writing. When I'm sitting down with the Rubber Bridge, I do find I'm kind of wanting to write in a headspace of kind of lo-fi, folk, indie sounds, or those just kind of dark, moodier type emotions. And the oil can style delay really does a good job at kind of bringing out that darker, more ominous, more kind of murky and moody feel to it, just because of the character of the repeats and just sort of the voicing of the effect in general. So it's a great context to use an oil can delay in. We're going to explore a couple other contexts or sort of use cases as we go through some of the sound samples too, but to just kind of know and contextualize where the effect could be useful, where it could be helpful, and where it can kind of excel is a really helpful starting point here. So you're going to kind of get a double feature of sound samples in this video. We're going to showcase the Kenai Fjords oil can on the Rubber Bridge through an extended sound sample section, and then we're going to showcase it as well with a traditional electric guitar and some more traditional style applications there. If you're new to the channel here and love hearing about new effects, or just hearing and talking about guitar gear and music making in general, I'd love it if you hit subscribe below. It's a huge help to the channel to kind of allow me to keep doing these videos and doing what I'm doing here. And I just love engaging with, talking to you guys about the things that we're excited about or interested in the guitar gear world, in the music making world, and beyond. So please hit subscribe, please like the video if you like it, and drop any questions or comments below and we can chat. Moving back to the Kenai Fjords, the oil can delay from Spruce Effects. I love what they're doing with this series. I think making these pedals more approachable, a little bit more concise, a little bit more compact is a really cool way to kind of allow for more folks to get into this series and to hear the sounds that Spruce Effects is creating. The oil can delay is a fun addition to the lineup. The Kenai Fjords namesake is a kind of a cool homage and sort of ties everything together locationally and sonically. This is a national park that's up in Alaska, and the fjords are just these bodies of water that have been created from glaciers over the years and centuries. And so there's this cool kind of allusion to water and to the ocean and to that sort of sloshy nature and characteristic of the oil can delay. So just really cool. You see the intentionality and you see the kind of the focus and the fun storytelling that Spruce Effects has adopted over the years with this series, and it's really cool. So with the Kenai Fjords, you have your top row of controls which feature mix, delay time, and feedback. You also have a modulation depth control, which as you dial it up can really get pretty deep and pretty wild. And then you have in the bottom center here a grit control, which is one of my favorite parts about the Spruce Effects pedals I've played. They just kind of incorporate this really nice musical texture and saturation control to a lot of their pedals. And it helps kind of broaden and enhance the effect overall to give you the ability to not only hear the delay repeats and kind of the character of the modulated echoes there, but to give a voice and kind of a texture to the effect as well by dialing in some grit and some saturation there. So I love that control. Finally, on the right, you've got a toggle that switches between two different modulation speeds. The toggle up, you have an add an echo mode, which gives you 300 millisecond cycle modulation. And then with the toggle down, you have an organ tone setting, which cuts that rate in half to 150 milliseconds and gives you just a more fluttery, quicker vibrato type sound to the modulated trails there. As you noticed in the intro sketch, again, this is fun on guitar. It's great on the rubber bridge. It can work really well with synth or piano keys type textures too, to just add some of that character and that texture, whether it be some grit, whether it be some of those darker sloshy delay repeats with the fluttery modulation, any number of ways you can apply it to a number of different instruments and really kind of add some character and texture to it. So let's dive into some of the sounds here. You're going to first hear the Juniper Rubber Bridge guitar from Orangewood going into the Kenai Fjords and onto a Strymon Flint for reverb. And then you'll hear a Heritage H535 with the same signal chain. All of that stuff's going on to a matchless Phoenix 35 head behind me here, and then onto a UA aux box for speaker and cab emulation. Thanks again for watching. Enjoy the sound samples here and drop any questions you've got below in the comments. Let's hear some sounds.